Well, good morning, St Paul's. My name is Mark Tomlinson. I'm the Projects Director of Sutton Community Works, which, as you may know, runs street pastors, school pastors, food bank, recently the winter shelter, and a few other things as well. I wonder if Charles Dickens were alive in 2020, what would be his novel? I think it might be A Tale of Two Lockdowns. Lockdown number one might be the blessed lockdown. For some of us, that's been a breather. Maybe catching up with family, maybe doing all those tasks that we've saved for a rainy day. But I ask, how many times can you reorganise your drawers? Lockdown number two might be for those people who are really struggling, who have found it immensely difficult and challenging, both financially, but also perhaps people spending too much time alone or spending too much time with others. It could be that they've lost their jobs, it could be on furlough, it could be issues of self-employment. So all sorts of issues. Well, Emily Maitlis said that lockdown isn't a great leveller. And actually the evidence indicates that it does discriminate based on your job, based on your income, based on where you live, and even your race. Much of the commentary within the church has been on what can we learn from the lockdown, and also what is God doing and saying. Well, Sutton Community Works during April, we ran 2 days of prayer and fasting for the London Borough of Sutton. And we had great participation from Christians, from a number of churches, and also reflections from a number of church leaders, both within Sutton and also a few national leaders to encourage us in our praying. And there's a real sense that prayer is rising up amongst the church, not just in Sutton and the Borough of Sutton, but also London and nationally. There's a real sense of people wanting to align themselves with the will of God. Well, you could pray for us. Please pray that for Sutton Community Works, that in the coming months that we respond to the tidal surge of needs that will come towards us, well documented in the press, things like domestic violence and substance misuse and food poverty and issues on the streets and in the schools around mental health. Tim Keller, in his excellent book, Making Sense of God, concludes that at the heart of numerous societal problems is the absence of hope, the lack of hope, a hopelessness. People's narratives lack hope, so they turn to other things, even work. Paul in 1 Corinthians 15 asserts that the resurrection of Jesus is the basis of our Christian hope. Not wishful thinking, not positive thinking, not a hope in messianic politicians, but a hope in Jesus. It's a hope that in the future, that we have a future that is secure, but also that all things will be made and set right through Jesus. In 1 Peter 3:15 it says this, "But in your hearts set apart Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have." Well, all Sutton Community Works projects exist to make a practical difference to those on the streets, in the schools, in the food bank. It's a working out of our faith, but we're also called, as we just read there, to word out our faith as well. So it's works and words, and hopefully sometimes wonders. At the very core is the underlying incandescent conviction that this is what Jesus would do and what he is doing through us now. As people that we serve, they experience our good works, and that causes them to ask that bigger question, why? Why do you go out on the streets at 2 a.m. in the morning? Why do you give up your time to give us food? Why do you sleep overnight at the winter shelter when you could be at home in bed? So we want to answer that question, why, not just with our works, but with words. The needs will increase in the coming months. Already in September, we're scheduled to go into a 5th school, Sutton Grammar School. There will be people on the streets with all sorts of issues, but asking those questions, why? Why has this happened? What in the world is going on? And we want to be there to answer those questions. The food bank has seen a 114% increase since the start of lockdown of people being fed by the food bank. And this will most likely increase in the future. There will be people coming, and are coming at the moment, whose lives are turned upside down and just trying to make sense of it all. We want to be there on hand to serve them with our works, but also with our words. So in the coming months, we'll need new volunteers, servants, those willing to work out their faith in practical ways, but also to word out their faith. Are you willing to serve? Are you willing to volunteer, to be the person working out and wording out your faith, and hopefully getting some wonders in there as well? Words, works and wonders. Well, if that's you, check out our website, www.suttoncommunityworks.org, check out our Facebook page, check out our YouTube channel. And on the YouTube channel, incidentally, there's some wonderful short reflections by church leaders, both locally and nationally, about how we can be encouraged in our prayer life. God bless you.